Are you ready to be the best that you can be? Join hybrid business coach and consultant Charity Brown and her guest as they give you behind-the-scenes access to the insider tips and tricks that will help you take your business to the next level. Charity has an extraordinary approach to boosting businesses to break out of their modes, influence their industries, and become leaders of their packs. And she's ready to pass this inspiring knowledge on to you today. Learn how to change your game and build your business into what you've always dreamed of, right here on the Create Clarity with Charity podcast.
Hello, and welcome to the Create Clarity with Charity podcast. Today, I have an amazing guest, Tony Manganiello. Hi, Tony.
Hey, Charity. How are you? Thanks for having me today.
Thank you for being here. I know the audience is just going to find you a wealth of information because of the 30 plus years you have with smart wealth systems, or actually with personal finance and helping people develop wealth in their life. And we all need more money. So it's really exciting to have you here. And I'm sure everyone will find a ton of value out of this.
I hope so.
Yes. Great. So, as you know, my podcast has a lot to do with the entrepreneur, the CEO, the man in charge, essentially, in their lives. Like when you're a business owner and you are an entrepreneur, like he said, you have to take on a lot of liability and responsibility.
Yeah.
And it has a lot to do with money. And when there's a lot of stress in our life, things can kind of fall through the wayside. And money is one of those things that does cause people to stress quite a bit.
Right.
And so, absolutely. Yes. So it's awesome to have somebody who's a pro at this, because we need all the new tips and tricks of this era. And you have some really interesting investment opportunities and ways to help eliminate debt. Not only that, you're an author of an amazing book, Debt-Free Millionaire. So you know how to utilize, the cash flow systems and eliminate your liabilities while maximizing assets, which is really awesome. So until we get into actually the details about your business, I want people to know who you are so they can feel connected with you. So they understand that you're not just trying to get a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow and stack as many millions as possible. It's not monetary gain for you, essentially, what you're doing. You're really doing this to help people relieve a major pain point, which is stress and money.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I wanted to lead in with, your amazing story, because I think a lot of us could relate to it, and go back in time on how the evolution of your business has started, and tell everyone about you.
Sure. Well, I was 11 years old when my family and I, my mom, my sister, my father sat down at the kitchen table. And in an Italian household, the kitchen table's the epicenter of activity. It's where we cook, we eat, we gather, all kinds of stuff. But the meeting we were having that day wasn't about planning, dinner or vacation or anything. It was where I was going to try and convince my father to come back home. And I looked him up in the face, and I said, hey, Dad, it doesn't matter what you've done, we forgive you. And it doesn't matter what you haven't done, we still love you. And no matter what you think, we still want you home with us. And he looked over at my mom and he said, when did he get to be so smart? And she's like, well, see what you've been missing. And he just got up and walked out of the house and was gone. I mean, we still later in life, we connected, and, we had a decent relationship before he passed. But at 11 years old, I really began to feel what it was like. You really don't know what you got until it's gone. And when our family kind of eroded, I was I was the only guy I knew who at that age, we're talking back in the 70s, who didn't have a dad around. All my buddies had their dads, all my classmates had their dads, and my dad was gone. And I always wanted to figure out what happened. I used to think, like many kids did, what was wrong with me that dad wasn't wanting to stick around to see me grow up. And as I grew older and I realized more and more, there was a number of different things that were wrong with the family, but one of the most important or biggest pressure points was personal finance. Nobody ever taught my mother or my father how money worked. And so at an early age, like 18, 19, I started having all these entrepreneurial juices flowing. I didn't even know what they were. I just knew I didn't want to wind up like that. And I wanted to have a family someday that wouldn't end up like that either. And as I mentioned to you before, I've been married. It's going on 27 years next month, and we have 7 children. And so, we've got a big, beautiful family. I'm richer than most people I know and all the things that money can't buy. But at the same time, understanding how money works and the pressure money can add to, let's face it, having a family, that's got enough pressure onto itself.
Yeah.
And so what my business partner and I, my business partner, John Commuta, he's also my father-in-law. We've been working together since 1995. And it's like a mission for us because he's got a somewhat similar story, although his family didn't break up. He just watched his father work himself to death. And so we both realize that, we're not marriage counselors and, we're not psychologists or therapists, but we do know that when money isn't working right in a family, it's not like husbands and wives are sitting there saying, you know what, I'm really upset with you about this, but gosh darn it, I'm so glad we're struggling financially because it makes everything better. That's not how it works. When they're upset with each other and money is putting pressure, the financial pressure is just coming down on them.
Yeah.
It's sad for us. It's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And we're here because we want to help people understand how money works. And the biggest thing people don't get is that they think they have to generate wealth. And in reality, in this country, people are already generating wealth. What they're not doing is accumulating any of the wealth they're already generating. And so they go out and they try to generate more wealth and generate more wealth. Well, when you don't know how money works, you have a bucket that you're trying to fill that has a bunch of holes in it. And so we come in and we show them how to generate wealth how to accumulate wealth with the wealth they're already generating. And then as they move through their careers in life and they generate more and more wealth, they're just accumulating more. Right. And it's really not difficult. It's been complicated by a number of different institutions and whatnot, but we just keep it real simple and help people where they need it the most.
Well, great. That's why you're here. And everyone wants to know how to do that. So the main nut and bolt here is, I guess, you're going to teach us how to generate wealth by utilizing some of these amazing, highly modified life insurance contracts.
Yes. And life insurance is something we used to joke about, which was we'd say, if you ever want to clear a room, tell people you sell life insurance.
Yeah, because they're like, oh man, I'll just go to AAA and do my $3 a month premium or something. Right? But this is a lot different than that. It's actually like a bank account, a highly modified bank account that you can utilize, leverage to pay off your debt, right?
Yeah, what we do is most people ask the wrong question when they buy life insurance. When they buy life insurance, they're saying, hey, how much will my loved ones get when they die? Yeah. And what they don't truly understand is that no life insurance company is going to offer you a life insurance contract unless they're supremely convinced you're going to be around for a good long while. As an example, Bill, who can get a $500,000 20-year term policy for $30 a month. Do the math on that. $30 a month over 20 years is $7,200. How would a life insurance company make money if they were risking $500,000 and only hoping to get $7,200 at most back? So the question isn't what they'll get, your loved ones will get when you die, because you're going to die, but you're not going to get a life insurance contract unless they're convinced they're going to turn a profit off of you. So the question has to be, what will the contract do for you while you're alive? Since the insurance company is going to bet on you being alive, it's like betting with the house at the casino.
Wow, that's a better strategy, I think.
Yeah. And that's what we focus on, is not the death benefit, but how to focus on accumulating cash value inside the contract in a way that most people and most agents don't understand. I did life insurance back in the late 80s, and we talked about it. A.L. Williams, and then I started getting into variable universal life policies and all this other stuff. Well, I got out of that business in 94, 95. And then when we discovered that this was a strategy, this is actually a strategy that's been around for over a century. And when I found out it was whole life insurance, I was like, there's no way I'm going to touch that with a 10-foot pole, because I'd been trained for years that whole life insurance was a waste of money. But when you learn how to take the premium dollars that are being put into the policy and focus them on cash value, not death benefit, it's not to say that you don't get a good death benefit, you do, but you get cash value that can grow and you can use it while it's growing. That's where the biggest piece of magic happens. We like to call it the magic bean. If you have money in one of these accounts, you can access it. And while you're using it for today's needs, it's still working for your tomorrow reality, which is at some point you're going to get older. And, depending on how, what you do for a living. I mean, I love what I do. I don't know if I'll ever stop. I'll slow down at some point, but I still got 20, 30 years left in me. And this is fun for me. I enjoy it. Not many people have that type of a background or that type of an experience. And at some point you want to slow down. Well, according to the National Institute of Retirement Security, I think that's what it's called, 92% of people will never have enough money to be able to quit working.
Yeah.
And that's not because they haven't been generating wealth. It's just that they've been generating wealth for everyone else but themselves.
Exactly. And that's the key, right? We need who wants to retire at 70 and they can't enjoy their wealth until they're like almost on their last leg. Now they have to stay in and take it easy. We need to generate wealth when we're 20, 30, 40. And if there's ways to do that and also eliminate the debt ratios and things like that, then you're really optimizing your money. Then your money's working for you.
Right.
So this is something that really should be ingrained in all the young listeners out there, that this is something they will not teach you in school. This is something you will not learn in the university, or actually, even if you're in a finance or accounting student, you might learn like what the definition is, but they really don't tell you how it can accelerate your wealth strategy. And that's another thing they don't teach in college, is a personal wealth strategy. We hear about all optimizing balance sheets and getting corporations, to get lines of credit and use their assets for lending and things like that. But what about us personally? And so, Tony's here to give back to you guys in a personal level. This is not for business. Can businesses, they don't.
Oh yeah. I mean, what these types of contracts, I've got a number of clients that use them as a line of credit for their own company. Okay. So, think of it in terms of, some people will have a line of credit for equipment. Yeah. Okay. Well, how would you like to be your own line of credit? How would you like to be able to use those funds to have that money working for your future while you're able to use it for your business today? And then it's also different strategies with regard to, pension plans. If you have a company that is profitable and you're thinking about putting money away for your future, most people, when they think of that, they go right to the 401k SEP or KEO accounts, which those plans are called profit sharing plans. And I remember when I first started looking into this, I said to myself, I've been in business for a long time. And as I built my business, I wasn't sharing the risk with anybody I pay. So why should I share the profit that it took me years to build before I even talk about what I'm putting away for myself? It's not that those plans aren't good, but are they the best plan for you? And are you going to get the most out of it is really the question.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's so true. And that's this is like an amazing tool, because people that really understand money, you can kind of leverage it and bend it and use it based on dates and time, and kind of, you can beat the exponential growth, interest rate by paying your bills on a certain date, and all these cool formulas that they don't teach us in school. So you learn that the hard way, or you get with someone like you who has a 30-year background and is doing something that's been very successful. So I want to share with everybody your awesome site, for one, just so we can feature it here, smartestwealthsystems.com. And you'll see a nice picture of Tony and his pops here. A nice family business. And tell us about your dad. I remember you saying he's like a mentor of yours. He's really helped you out through the years. And
he's actually my father-in-law.
Oh yes, your father-in-law.
Yeah, I met him we were going to the same church years and years ago, and fellow Italians, we talk about food, and which, when you're Italian, it's all about the food.
Them cannolis. No.
Yes. And he'd been teaching people even before Dave Ramsey was teaching people debt elimination. My father-in-law, John Commuto, was doing that back since 1991.
Oh, wow.
And we met in 1992, 93 at this church. And, he just spoke the language that I never even realized existed. That was like, wow, this makes a lot of sense. Showing people how to become debt-free. I mean, imagine what life would be like without having to have a mortgage payment, car payments, student loan payments, credit card payments. Most people don't realize that almost half of their gross income is spent before they earn it, because they have to gross about half of their income to bring home enough just to pay their debt bills.
Yeah.
And so ever since then, I mean, it's just been an amazing time. He's been the dad I never had, and I'm very proud to say that the relationship has been wonderful for 30 years. And we're doing this because we really want families to be able to overcome some of the traps that so many different financial institutions put in place when it comes to how money works. The biggest mistake people make is they use a budget. And what they do is they think, hey, as long as I got my bills paid, I'm okay. Well, think of it in terms of the income you've generated in the last decade. Most people have generated hundreds of thousands of dollars in take-home pay. Well, where is it? Where did it all go? I mean, this isn't gross income. This is money that you actually had slip through your fingers. Yeah. And so budgeting doesn't teach you how to keep more of what you make. And we have a different approach on that. I like to look at it as cash flow. And we look at maximizing your personal cash flow, because when you tell people that they could become debt-free in about 8 years, give or take, they can't believe it.
Yeah.
But we've done it literally millions of times.
Yeah. And it's really amazing, the amortization. I know you guys have some really fancy program where you put in all your liabilities, all your loans, and then you enter your monthly income, and then it like eliminates the, what is it, exponential interest calculation?
Yeah. What we do is we circumvent the interest that you're paying. Typically, the average family with our plan can save over $100,000 in interest.
Yeah.
See, because when you're budgeting, you think, hey, I got all my bills paid and I got a few bucks going to my 401k or whatever. Mm-hmm. Most people don't realize that their biggest expense is their debt payments.
Yeah.
And they just have accepted, like Neo in the Matrix, that debt payments are going to be there no matter what. And that's exactly what the banks want you to think.
Yeah.
They want you thinking that you need to keep borrowing from us so that we can help you have the things you deserve that otherwise you wouldn't be able to. Maybe you wouldn't be able to afford that car. Well, you know what? In the beginning, you might need to use a little bit of somebody else's money, but you do that just to start. And we teach, once you get that stuff established, from that point forward, it's going to be a battle between who gets your future income, the banks and the lenders and the creditors, or you.
Yeah. Yeah. That's and they don't teach that banks don't want you to know that you don't have to pay your car note on the 5th or by the 5th. You can pay it small increments all the way up until the payment, and then have zero. And then you eliminate all the interest because you're paying on the principal. If people aren't understanding what we're talking about, that exponential interest calculation, compound interest. And Tony's program pretty much integrates all that into an amazing way of also then increasing your cash flow and creating a retirement and wealth while paying down your debt. So it's like the ultimate tool to money management or something, right?
Yeah, it's basically, you don't have to worry about generating wealth. Most people have that down. Let's work on helping you begin to accumulate some of the wealth you've already been generating. And then that way, if you get a plan like this in place and your career improves and you get raises and, like we expect to get as you advance in your career, at least you're going to have a platform that the wealth accumulation continues to take place. It just happens faster.
Yeah. Okay. So I just stumbled upon some amazing stuff on your site. I have to talk about this because I love e-learning and I love what you're doing with the coaching and everything. So once again, smartestwealthsystems.com, and then hit on products when you go visit, because he really does have some amazing tools on here. Smart Wealth System course, online business academy, and Debt-Free Millionaire coaching systems, cash flow dashboards, Banker Secrets to Permanent Family Wealth course. And the one that we're going to talk about today is the Banker Secret to Permanent Family Wealth ebook. That's only $7. Download, invest in yourself and your future. Tony, tell us about that.
Well, it's if you go to the homepage and click on Learn More, if you buy it from the products page, you pay like $15 for it. I think it's $14.95. But we want to give you a discount. If you go to the Learn More button from the homepage, you'll come to a page where you can get it for just $7. Yeah, that's the one. Okay. And we used to give it away, and people would take it, but then because they didn't make a little investment, they never read it and they never followed through. And so we put a $7 price point in, which is, money back guarantee, 30 days. In 30 days, if you don't think it was any good and, you're not happy with it, shoot us an email. We will refund you the money back. It's $7 is no skin off our nose. And we believe that if you're $7 worth of serious, this is where you begin to learn this really amazing secret that some of the richest families in the world have used. As a matter of fact, 700 of the Fortune 1000 companies use these types of accounts to grow their wealth. J.C. Penney, Disney, McDonald's, they all had these accounts to help them in times when they needed it, because these accounts work. And the reason nobody's ever, the biggest question, the most common question we hear is, how come I've never heard of this before? Bottom line is because usually it's just been something rich people would find out about.
Yeah.
And, we believe everybody deserves a chance at having as much, gaining as much riches from the wealth they're already generating as possible.
Yeah.
So $7, that's all it is.
It's like the best investment ever in yourself. And keep in mind, everyone, I mean, it's not like he mentioned, like the Fortune 500 companies, big corporations are using this strategy, but now it's available to, everybody. You don't have to have a business. I know a lot of you out there that are listening are business owners, and maybe you could do some strategy with Tony and talk about your business. Maybe he can help you rearrange some of your debt with COVID and everything. I know we're all experiencing some insane money crunch issues, especially if you are a business owner, and we're all wondering, is it hopeless, right? Is there a way out? Is there a way to fix this? Ask Tony. Has some solutions. He'll do a great evaluation with you, have a strategy call once you download the book, check it out, see what the strategy is. If it interests you, then go to the Smartest Wealth systems.com and book a call with Tony. Because he's doing these evaluations to help maximize your cash flow and eliminate debt. And so this isn't just about pitching your business, though, Tony. We really want to know, your insights after 30 years of being in the business. Obviously, you've had some major amazing vlogcasts here on your YouTube. Sorry, I'm getting tongue-tied. Looks like you've been at this a while. I love that you also produce your you have a podcast and free videos online. So if you guys are just want to get to know Tony's systems and, money principles, go to his YouTube channel. And let's see, how can they find you? They just put in Smartest Wealth Systems.
Smartest Wealth Systems, and search the filter by channel as opposed to video, and you'll come right to our channel, Smartest Wealth Systems.
Cool. So you can get some free insights and advice as well. And so, Tony, just getting back to, your story, and, you weaved in and out of, other life insurance firms, and, you grew your financial portfolio and have some diversity in there, and, starting a business with your father-in-law. I mean, there has to be some insight that you look back on, what you would tell what your future self would tell your beginner entrepreneur back then. What are some words of advice?
I would have said, hey, read this ebook.
Yes.
Because I really believe that I read that ebook back then. I actually have a video that explains when I used to be one of those buy term, invest the rest guys. Okay. And that's what I did back almost 20 years ago when we got married and started having a family. I got, get the term insurance and start building my business. And if I had done what I teach now back then, boy, it would be, there would be a world of difference. I'd have $250,000 more in wealth. I'd have free life insurance for the rest of my life. And, but better late than never. They say there's 2 times to plant a tree. The best time is 20 years ago. The next best time is today.
Yes. And today, go check out smartestwealthsystems.com. Look at the pay off debt and build retirement wealth with the same dollars at the same time. Click on learn more. It's right on the very front of the website to get that free download. And Tony, I so appreciate your time and being here and contributing to the knowledge pool and helping all those entrepreneurs out, getting us a system that can really help create wealth. I totally appreciate you being here, and hopefully you'll come back and share some more insight.
My pleasure, Charity. Thank you so much for having me.
Awesome. Thanks, Tony. Have a good one. Bye, everyone.
You too.